with the holy intellect and attitude full of love, cooperation, benevolence, selfless, free from negative and wasteful thoughts. At this time, everyone's need is to get strength and support. Sakash for emotional health, physical health, and spiritual well-being. So, with our pure feelings, we connect every soul with Baba so that they can take Baba's light, Baba's love, and Baba's power. Each one of us connect ourselves also with Baba and spread the rays of light and power to all the souls. This is most important service at a time, at this time. And have pure thoughts that whatever elevated actions they have done, or in whatever way they have served, that strength of elevated actions also brings support to all the souls. Through Baba's light and might, all get protection. So that they can continue to serve Baba and share their charity of elevated actions with all. So now we, through our pure thoughts, feelings, we stay connected with Baba and then spread the vibrations of love, light, and might. Let's take drishti from Baba and share such feelings.
कहती हूँ पहले इसी बात का मुझे जवाब दो
และสุด
तुम जन्मा
ให้คำตอบกับได้ดูก่อนว่าเมื่อเธอถือกำเนิด
जन्म लिया क्या तेरे हाथ में है क्या कि युवा न बनो प्रकृति का नियम है जो जन्मा है वो बड़ा होगा वो जरूर युवा होगा। युवा के बाद वृद्ध होता, वृद्ध के बाद वानप्रस्थ होता, तो वानप्रस्थ के बाद मृत्यु होता। नियम अनुसार तो सब यही है। हाँ, वो कर्मों का हिसाब किताब है। कोई सडनली बचपन में ही शरीर छोड़ता और कोई बड़पन में शरीर छोड़ता, परंतु जिस आत्मा ने ये शरीर लिया है, कहते हैं जैसे सांप खाल छोड़ता वैसे आत्मा विनाशी है। एक खाल लिया, नहीं लेता है, पुरानी छोड़ता है। ये हिसाब कोई जल्दी छोड़ता है और कभी कोई बड़ा होके बाद जब बूढ़ा होता है तो छोड़ता है, पर छोड़ना तो है ही ना। कहते हैं राम गयो रावण गयो, गयो सब परिवार। ऐसा कोई दुनिया में आज भी कोई है जो कहे गयो ही नहीं, यहाँ अमर बैठा है क्या कोई? है कोई नहीं। सब आए सब गए। वो बताया कि हाँ, कर्म के हिसाब से कोई आगे कोई पीछे जा। फिर किस चीज का रोना रोने? अगर रोना है तो अपना जो रोज वस्त्र बदलते हो, रोज उसी पर रोना करो। बदलते हो ना ड्रेस, है? कभी कैसी ड्रेस, कभी कैसी ड्रेस। ऐसे ही मनुष्यों के पाप और पुण्य के हिसाब से मनुष्य को कभी बीमारी, कभी कुछ होता है। और फिर उसके लिए भी आज देखो तो साइंस ने बहुत अच्छी इन्वेंशन कर बहुत अच्छी दवाइयां निकालते हैं, लेकिन फिर कहावत है ज्यों ज्यों दवा की त्यों त्यों रोग बढ़ता ही गया। कोई हिसाब है? दवाइयां भी खूब निकलती जाती, अब बीमारियां भी खूब निकलती जाती। करो कंट्रोल, हाय करो नहीं, अपना काम है, ठीक है, बीमारी है, दवा है, अच्छा है, करो। लेकिन फिर भी क्या डॉक्टर का बस चलता? कभी ऐसा भी होता जो बिल्कुल समझा जाता कि ये बड़ा सीरियस अभी गया, लेकिन देखो बहुत अच्छा हो जाता। और कब बिल्कुल अच्छा है, देखो कैसे मिनट में होता, एक्सीडेंट होता। तो ये सब तो खेल है। जैसे आप लोग जाते हो पिक्चर पर, उसमें भी सब आपको दिखाएंगे, ऐसा हुआ, वैसे हुआ, ये हुआ, ये हुआ, वो हुआ, अनेक प्रकारों की स्टोरीज बताएंगे। फिर आप पिक्चर में क्यों जाते हो? मनोरंजन लिए जाते हो ना, या रोने के लिए जाते हो? खेल करने जाते हो मनोरंजन के लिए या रोने के लिए? हाँ, जाते हो ना। वैसे ये भी डंडा है, डोरी है, कुछ भी है, जो भी काम करते हो, सर्विस करते हो, गवर्नमेंट सर्विस है, ये सब प्रकृति में खेल करते हो। अगर खेल मानो तो खेल में जरूर हार भी है, जीत भी है। तो क्या खेल करना बंद कर दो? आजकल तो स्काउट्स बहुत चलता है, जरूर है। कोई बॉल कैच भी करता है, कोई का बॉल गिर भी जाता है, हार जीत तो चलती है। हाँ? बंद करो सभी ये चीजें बंद करो ना। क्यों नहीं बंद करते हो? क्यों? ये सब जानते हैं, ये सभी क्रम है। इसीलिए अगर कोई मेरे से पूछे, मैं अपनी बात करती हूँ, आज मुझे 60 बरस इस जीवन को अनुभव किया है। मैं समझती हूँ मेरे अनुभव में, जब से मैं श्री बाबा की बनी हूं, मैंने कभी मन का रोना नहीं रोया, आंखों का रोना तो दूर रहा। मैं समझती हूँ खुशी जैसी खुराक नहीं, चिंता जैसा मर्ज नहीं। हम क्यों मर्ज होंगे? हम तो खुशियों की खुराक। जीवन मिली है खुशियों में रहने की, न कि जीवन मिली है गम में होने की। नहीं।
everybody. Welcome to Vikti Parivar. So today, yes, this life is for happiness, right? And today's Murli was so rich. There were so many things we all listened. So before we listen to our Didi, let's do the revision of today's Murli.
The tree of success, where the seed is the elevated attitude. The tree is the accurate method, and the fruit is the elevated success. Now let's take a look at the seed of elevated attitude, where Bap Dada says to have soul-conscious attitude of brotherhood, attitude of benevolence, attitude of love, attitude of cooperation, attitude of selflessness, an attitude of being free from sinful and wasteful thoughts. After the seed comes the tree of method. It contains the branches of accurate method, the method of using the word you first and I first accurately. The method of being a true Arjuna in self-effort. The method of using the elevated treasure of specialities, virtues, and powers at the right time. And the method of having a holy intellect imbibed with the power to discern and the power to decide. This is the tree of success, where the seed of elevated attitude and the tree of accurate method gives us the fruit of success in every task and every situation.
So nice way of revising Murli, right? Or one of the angel from a Vikti team just got this thought to put together today's points. So thank you, Angel. And now let's start Murli, the source of truth, attitude, soul, holy swan. Today's day 4. Let's listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Sister Angel. Beautiful way to revise the Murli. I think I will keep that tray. It's very, very useful to just revise. You all also are very, very sincere effort maker. All are trying to understand, practice, do the homework, and write the chart during evening time, night time. So definitely because of your sincerity, you are paying full attention to understand what Baba is saying. And I know that many of you are sharing how much homework you are doing. And it has become natural for us now to keep thinking about points of the Murli. Now, attitude is something which is very subtle. And it comes from the impressions which we have accumulated of the past about a person, about a situation, and that emerges from time to time. It's just really the deep impressions, whether it is like about someone's way of thinking, way of doing. And if I have been observing, then I feel this person is like that. I liked very much when Baba began the Murli by saying, holy swans seated on elevated throne. So I was few times a day thinking about that I have to sit on the elevated throne. And the whole practice was about that I have to use power to discern and decide with holy intellect. So if I have holy intellect, which Baba described holy today in three ways. Holy means pure. Holy also means past is past. And thirdly, holy means colored by the company of Baba. So I've been thinking and also experimenting with practicing that I have to keep my intellect holy. So when intellect is holy, really, this point of holy intellect is not just for a day. Actually, this is required all the time in Brahmin life. Seated on the elevated throne and have the holy intellect. So when you have holy intellect and then you discern something, Baba gave example that like using specialities of virtues, powers, and jewels of knowledge at the appropriate time in an accurate way. So then, as a swan, now swan has in front of him stones and pebbles, but swan will pick the uh, pebbles. He will just keep separate pebbles and stones. He will leave it and pick the pearls. So it's like all the time during day we need to use holy intellect and then discern and then decide. So I think this is something needs regular practice, right? Like swan, it's not he does that once in a while, pick the pearls and leave the pebbles, but all the time, anytime. And especially when Baba is saying that you have decoration of specialities, because Baba has given blessing to each soul that you are a special soul. And he didn't create numbers, we create numbers. How do we create numbers? If I have specialties and I know I'm special, but I don't use that specialty, and then use, of course, at the right time in an accurate way, then number one. From number one, I become two or three. And our aim should be what? Number one. And Baba said, one means it could be first division, and there could be many in the first division. So Baba really is encouraging us to take number one. And also remember that when it comes to reminding yourself that when it comes to self-transformation or any transformation, I shouldn't say, why should I change? This other one should change. You are losing your chance to win. I change. Let me take number one because I am Arjuna. And to always remember that whatever we do, always remember there are many who would follow or give reference. Today we talk so much about daddies, looking at how they decide, what they do, their love, cooperation for everyone. So same is our lives, right? I have to remember whatever I do, I will be remembered for that, and there will be many who would follow. And I really like this whole point of self-respect. No comparison with anyone. I am my own self, a unique, as Baba said, everyone is alokik and unique and has specialities. So when you have self-respect, then you are free from arrogance. And actually, second word is humiliation. I am not respected. I was humiliated. I felt hurt. It's because of lack of self-respect. If I have self-respect, then whatever anyone says, and I'm free from arrogance. Because sometimes arrogance, such a blockage, doesn't allow me to transform my own self. But the joy and happiness which I will get through my transformation, it's not transformation of others will bring happiness to me. I will still might be unhappy. So it's a very, very subtle aspect of self-respect and not to have arrogance or ever feel humiliated. And give respect to everyone. Respectful to everyone. And Baba said, if you are respectful, then every person, even the nature, will respect you. Self-respect, respect others, and never, never disrespect anyone so that you can be free from arrogance and feelings of humiliation. So when intellect is holy, that's when I am is sown, right? And it's not holy intellect is for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I have to be holy. Naturally, keep your intellect holy so that power to discern and decide work properly. But of course, all these beautiful qualities in the attitude which you all saw on the branch of the tree. Attitude, within that attitude, there has to be benevolence. As Baba said, if you love someone or in his family, you see someone's weakness, you cannot see it. So sometimes it is out of love you say to someone. So it's really, really so much to pay attention because attitude is very strong. What I'm saying, it has, as Baba said, vibrations. And then also based on attitude sometimes, then we start describing using words. So I'm creating kind of world around me based on my attitude and the words. My drishti becomes like that. It's true because when other person does things in a similar pattern as that one had been doing in the past, so naturally thoughts come, this one is like that, right? Now it is true, but then this won't help that person to change. Like Dadi Janki, one of her specialty was to keep a higher vision on us. She had a vision of our future, our perfection, very elevated drishti towards us. And then that will make us forget the past and help us to change. So even knowing that other person has a pattern, has some habits from the past, but what should be my attitude? And what should I talk about that person to help that person, to bring that transformation in that person? So my elevated drishti and words can help other souls. That is called actually love and cooperation. And Baba says attitude of love and cooperation. What kind of cooperation these days we all need to give to each other is to have that kind of drishti, elevated attitude towards everyone. So this is something like sometimes you feel it's very elusive because it's not what it is and I'm trying to create it. But that's what we have to create so that other souls can experience that love, can experience that cooperation in a proper way. So, yes, you first, then some, yes, I give you chance, I respect you, but what I have to do, I should do first. So it's so interesting, very, very simple things of everyday use. So I am sure that listening to what the way Baba is explaining, it will stay with us. And I'm sure at the right time, not only will think about it, but we will pay a lot of attention on how to use you and I, and look at my attitude and look at the quality of my intellect. So it was very, very, I think, very powerful, Murli, very practical, and very much needed at this time when I have to clear all my karmic accounts and I have to be a good instrument for Baba's task. So this holiness, this purity, whether intellect or attitude, both are very, very important. So we should think more about it, practice it, and I'm sure we will continue to practice to be seated on elevated throne as a holy swan. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So now we will get our practice for tomorrow and would like to invite Brother Ken.
Om Shanti, everyone. Om Shanti, Didi. Again, I hope everyone's really flying with these incredible Murlis and the depth that we're able to go into as Didi said this morning, she was in her class, every single word of the Murli is precious, and we could, really just go into the depth of it. And of course, if our efforts are sincere, we'll probably get some reward. But one of the things I discovered in looking at this, that in English, attitude means, literally, it means a settled way of thinking. That I have a sort of an internal state based on experiences and impressions that makes me think in a certain way about people and situations, as Baba said. But it's very different. I think vritti is a more subtle thing than the attitude in English, because the vritti is like the waves or the ripples in the content of the soul, in the content of the awareness. And of course, if the content of the awareness is not okay, then, as Baba said in the Murli, you really can't do much about it. It's like there's an expression in English about people that have a short fuse. That means they are temperamental. They can get upset very easily because the fuse on the fuse on the dynamite is very short, so it takes very little time to explode. But the problem is not the fuse, and it's not even the match that we light the fuse with. The problem is the explosivity of the explosiveness within the dynamite. So it's the same. If my content in the soul, if the content that I build up based on my own impressions, my own interpretations, and of course, Baba talked about the colored glasses, and there's no way that I can get away from the content that's inside me unless I clean it. And the idea of a holy swan, of course, probably swans don't eat pearls. It's probably from the myth, some sort of a mythological idea. Yes, swans just eat normal things like other birds do. But mythologically, they would eat pearls and not the stones. So I have to have that purity in some way. So Baba is a benefactor. He wants me to experience benefit. And so a common approach for me when I'm listening to the Murli, especially Avyak Murlis, is to get some more instructions about perfection. And so this is what I did. For example, while I was listening at the time of the Murli, using those three words of attitude, soul, and holy swan, I mean, the request was to have 3 points from the Murli, but there were so many. But I stayed with this idea of checking the color of my glasses related to others. So there's something in the content of the soul that's disturbing my perception, maybe. The other thing that I picked up was the whole idea of deciding correctly and discerning correctly. And then you first and I first in the proper way. You first with respect and I first because I have to become the example for others. And I selected a fourth one, be ever ready. And the practice as a traffic control is very, very interesting for me. So anyone, for any reason that would come into my mind, because today we were involved in the NCCC retreat, and of course we would see other people that we know. And so in between the traffic controls, people would come in our mind, this one and that one. And so the effort was that every time there was a traffic control, I would check to see if my vision was completely pure towards anyone that I was thinking about. It was really, really deep experience. And of course, the chart that we have to fill in later tonight, how successful was my soul conscious vision? This is for today's chart. And of course, everything that implies about the purity and the respect, the self-respect. So tomorrow's Murli, can you put yeah, that's it. You can see we're still on the soul, and you can see several words that just stand out according to the frequency of them in the Murli. Knowledge, love, action, and there's remembrance also. When you see behind time, beloved, the innocent Lord is also there now. So there's a lot of, just looking at the picture of the Murli, the picture of the main words, you get an idea of the flavor that's going to be in it. But I'm not going to give you any details about tomorrow's Murli. You have to wait for it yourself. But this is what you have to become ready for. So if we can put up the listening at the time of the Murli. And this is another thing that, another way that is very good to approach the Murli, about my titles. What does Baba say to me? And since I've already read tomorrow's Murli, I think there are more than 10 titles that either directly or indirectly, that he's the way that he talks to me lets me know exactly. So how does Baba consider me? And in that way, how should I then consider myself as a soul? These are my titles as a soul, or as an eternal soul, as Baba's child. So what did Baba say in terms of the titles that I have? How many titles does Baba give me today? And what does it mean? This is why you're listening to the Murli, because if you go into the Murli with a plan of listening, you'll pick it up. If you're just going away and just open up and to receive things passively, that's exactly why we should improve our listening. And that's why it's one of the main aspects of our work this month. Every single morning, we have to listen deeply. We have to listen further. We have to extract the things as Baba's saying them. And sometimes the Murli sounds like a meditation commentary, but as Baba's speaking, I should be experiencing what Baba's saying. And therefore, Baba's talking to me. I have to make the Murli personal. The practice of traffic control, it's also connected with the Murli. And it's something that we can check every hour or every hour and a half on the hour. And of course, then we have the half-hour meditations of traffic control, like 10:30 and 3:30 and so on. Is everything I'm doing helping the soul to become healthy, wealthy, and happy? So if I, let's say at 10 o'clock there's the traffic control, or 10:30 the traffic control, let me think of the past hour that just went. Is everything I'm doing at this time helping me to become healthy, wealthy, and happy? I didn't get lost in the scenes of the drama. I didn't get lost in the situations. That's exactly what traffic control is for, to bring me back on track. And finally, the experience that we have to check for the chart that's related to these practices of traffic control. Did I come closer to heaven today in my thoughts, words, and deeds? Did I come closer to heaven today, my thoughts, words, and deeds? So everything I'm doing is creating a better future in a way. So let's be attentive on these things for tomorrow's Murli, and we'll get a real sense of depth and wealth out of it. And then finally, the thought for Amrit Vela, can you put that up? And this is something like a quote from the Murli in a way. I am the master ocean of knowledge, the most master ocean of love. So those two things are connected. I remember when I first came into Gyan, I was in London. This is in like the first 3 months I was in London, and Didi Sudesh was there, and I was trying to understand things, and she said something so important. She said, look, the soul is trying to build a bridge between itself and God. And we need knowledge for that. So the knowledge builds the bridge, but the love is able to cross the bridge. So I need both. And I am the master ocean of knowledge and the master ocean of love. And those things, if I just have love but no knowledge, I don't have a bridge. If I have the knowledge and no love, I have a great bridge, but I can't cross it. So I need both to come closer to Baba. So enjoy the experience in Amritsar also. So my dear sisters and brothers, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Prithika. And now today's Spotlight Drishti Day, a Bhakti journey meeting through the eyes, the language of angels.